Hello, good morning, and welcome to Thoughts and Updates for this week. I am following again the trail round the hometown of Kirkintilloch where I live, and I have come now Town Hall along to the museum library, the place where there is a homage to the lace industry locally, and then down to where last week it was the mother of Japanese whiskey, and now along what is called the Cowgate, which is the centre street in the town, to what is behind me, which is the old, I believe, Kirkintilloch Equitable Cooperative Society, established in 1882 by a group of handloom weavers. Now, the cooperative movement was established in order to ensure that working class people got some kind of provisions. So it would be particularly food that was provided, and what would generally happen would be that people were paid, and then there was a shop run by the company that employed them, and they would get stuff on tick. And what the co-op attempted to do was to try and give workers fair food in a format that was different, so that you became a member of the cooperative society. From there, you were able to share in the dividends, which would be the profit that came from the people like you who were trying their best to provide some kind of family life for their family. That's why cooperative society then grew and began as founding members of the Labour Party, but also a socialist movement designed to cooperatively give people whose labour was being used in order to provide us with the profits for commerce the opportunity of feeding their families. And the next stage of all this, of course, was when they started to look at other things that working class people were struggling to afford, like funerals. And we still have the Cooperative Funeral Society in the UK, which continues to provide us with that opportunity. And it leaves me this week thinking particularly of where are we now in the new dawn, the new society that was supposed to be built after we were coming out of COVID. And I have to say, ironically, not many of us are. Indeed, amused by what's happening. We currently have a shortage of HGV, heavy goods vehicle, lorry drivers in the United Kingdom. Much of it blamed on us coming out of the European Union. What used to happen was that we had people who were from a variety of European countries, and if you had a qualification in Poland and Lithuania and Spain and Italy, then you could go and work anywhere in the European Union. That has ceased simply because we have come out of the European Union. Brexit, Britain's exit from the European Union, has left us with this shortage of labour, particularly in Scotland. We're not seeing them coming across to work in our hospitality industry and our fruit picking industry, and many of the jobs that Scottish individuals, workers, refuse to do are not being done at all now, so that fruit will sit in the fields. Many of our waiters and waitresses will be less prevalent within restaurants and hotels, and unfortunately what we now have is a lack of HGV lorry drivers who are able to bring food and produce into our supermarkets, leading to a lot of empty shelves. Now, there's also a number of anecdotal pieces in some of the news items, which is telling the stories of drivers. So saying there's no shortage of drivers, there's no shortage of fuel, but there are queues and queues and queues of people trying to get fuel into their cars, and even limits being placed on fuel going into cars. Now, we live in Scotland, the 14th richest country in the world, we were told during the 2014 referendum, but we're starting to see rationing, something that my grandparents had during a world war. But now, having dealt with the political fallout that has come with Brexit, having gone through a pandemic, having heard the promises that we were going to do things differently, We're now back at a place from 40 to 50 years ago. At the beginning of the pandemic, people started to panic buy. They bought lots and lots of toilet rolls. I have got no idea, as I said at the time, I've said many times since, what kind of crisis that we're going to face, for which the answer is an abundance of toilet rolls. But there seemed to be this need for people to go and quite literally fight in supermarket aisles for toilet rolls. We're now seeing people going to petrol stations in order to fight to get 20, 30, 40, 60, 80 quid's worth of diesel. In 2021, where is the new dawn? Where is the new society? Where is just being nice? Where is us actually caring for each other in a way in which the cooperative society, which started in the 19th century, was designed to do, was supposed to give us that opportunity to combine together and use our collective abilities to provide a better society for working class people? I don't know where it is. But as I wander round the trails and the various historical places within this town, perhaps I'll begin to understand. But for now, as I find myself back where it all began, which was the town hall, and I will find myself further away and along the street next week, it's bye for now.